everyone. This video is to go over chapter 15, the last chapter that will be included on your test. Okay, so we want to talk about distributing products, right? So what we're going to talk about is how do we get products from whoever makes them to us, right? Are you going to go to a store? Are you going to purchase it online? Are you going to buy it from the actual farmer? In today's day, not as frequent, but certainly you could go to a farmer's market or something like that. Okay, so what are marketing intermediaries, right? They're in the middle of the series, right? They could be someone that picks up all the eggs from a farmer and brings them to your local Food Lion or Harris Teeter or Walmart or Kroger or wherever you buy eggs, right? So a channel distribution is a group of intermediaries work together to transport and store goods from producers to consumers, right? So here is a picture, it looks like, I think that's the Amazon logo, of an Amazon distribution center, right? And all the intermediaries that are involved in getting products from Amazon, from when I click on that book or water bottle or whatever I buy on Amazon, to getting it to my actual house, right? Okay, so here, I like this. This is one of your PowerPoint slides that I really like because it kind of shows you different examples of how intermediaries are actually used, right? So in this one, the manufacturer makes the product, gives it straight to the consumer, right? This one, manufacturer gives it to a retailer, and the retailer gives it to us, sells it to us, right? So this might be if you go to Toyota, right? Toyota makes the cars. They give them to, if you're in Raleigh or Cary, Raleigh-Durham area, maybe Leith Toyota, right? And then I go to Leith Toyota and I purchase it, okay? Now this one, maybe I go, I need to buy some milk or eggs from my, let's say pharmaceutical, okay, drugs. So the pharmaceutical makes my allergy medicine, they sell it to a wholesaler. The wholesaler sells it to my local Rite Aid, Walmart, Target, wherever I get my pharmacy prescriptions, and then I go buy it. Let's talk about the farmer, right? So say Farmer Joe, he has eggs, right? Tons and tons and tons of eggs. Well, it's not really feasible that Farmer Joe is going to be able to give eggs, sell his eggs to every single person who wants them in a way that they're not spoiled, they're not cracked, right? So he's probably going to sell them to a broker. The broker's going to sell it to the wholesaler. The wholesaler is going to sell it to Kroger, Harris Teeter, Trader Joe's, Walmart, wherever you like to shop, right? And then I'm going to go buy them there. Okay, so I think this kind of shows the different ways that intermediaries can be involved and the different levels of channels of distribution that can be involved in each of those. Okay, so in general, intermediaries can do things faster and cheaper than manufacturers could. If we go back to that Farmer Joe example, it would cost Farmer Joe way more money to be able to rent a truck that was air conditioned, refrigerated, and deliver his eggs to every single person that wanted them, and for them to pay for them individually, right? It's much better for him to have an intermediary that gets his product to the place where the consumers are going to go purchase it. Here you can see how they create efficiency, right? Here's the manufacturer. If this manufacturer wanted to sell it to all 5 of these retailers, look at the giant mess of web we have here. Just think of the payments and everything else that would go into this. First, if you have a wholesaler that you sell to one person, and that's it. Makes it much easier. Oops. Okay, now we're back to our regular scheduled programming. I'm not sure what happened. Okay, so then we want to talk about utility, right? It's the value that you get from purchasing. And there are 6 types: form, time, place, possession, information, and service. The first one is form, okay? So you're going to change raw materials into useful products, right? So Starbucks, they do a lot in their supply chain where they get the actual go to the farms to get the coffee beans, roast the coffee beans, make the coffee that you buy in your store, right? If you think about your computer that you're looking at, right, or whatever, if you're one on a library or something like that, right? So all the little pieces that are in the computer that ultimately make it so that you can use it, right? Time utility, so that it is available when you want it. right? So that a couple weeks ago, my husband had really bad poison ivy. And so we went to, it was late. So we went to over a 24-hour CVS and were able to get the Benadryl, right? That was a time utility for us. Place utility. It is where you need it to be. ATMs or in convenient locations. Possession utility. You give your Visa card. When you go to buy a sandwich, you get the sandwich, right? They get your money, you get your sandwich. Information. Websites offer information to services. If you've ever heard of this website called CNET, right? CNET. It has a lot of information about tablets and computers and phones, and they don't sell the products, they just give information. And then service. The Genius Bar at Apple is a great example of a service utility, right? They help people learn about their phones or tablets or computers. So wholesalers can be wholesaler or retailer, right? So Costco is a great example of a wholesaler retailer, right? They sell goods to businesses and to consumers, right? I can have a Costco membership and go buy things there. They compete on 5 functions: price, service, location, selection, and entertainment. Depending on the retailer, they're going to probably compete more on one than the other, right? So if you are Chick-fil-A, you're going to compete really on service more than price, because we know Chick-fil-A is more expensive. All things being equal, you can go to Wendy's or McDonald's and get a cheaper sandwich than you can at Chick-fil-A. So they're going to offer service. With the aid of the internet, location has become much more important, right? People are saying, okay, well, if we're going to have a location, we're going to pay all this money for rent and insurance and all these other things, we got to make sure it's a good location and people are actually going to come. Tons of retail stores, 2.3 million retailers in the US, does not include websites. A lot of people, 11 million jobs. Retailing is big business, right? So there's various types of retail stores, which you can see here. 3 types of strategies for retailers: intensive, selective, and exclusive distribution. So intensive, you're going to put products into as many retail outlets as possible, right? So an example, this might be Coke, right? Coke's not going to distinguish, we're going to sell to Kangaroo and not 7-Eleven. No, they want it every single convenience store, every single restaurant, every single bar. They want Coke there. They don't want Pepsi. Selective, use a preferred group of the available retailers in an area. So maybe Polo, Ralph Lauren, right? They're not going to be at every single retailer, but they might be at Macy's and Belk and Nordstrom's, or whatever department stores you have in your area. Exclusive, so Steinway pianos, right? In the Raleigh-Durham area, there's one place that sells Steinway pianos, right? Because they're probably not going to have a lot of demand for Steinway pianos because they're very expensive. Different types of non-store retailing, direct selling, multi-level marketing. An example of this is Stella & Dot, Herbalife. It works where if you start selling the product, you try to get people to buy your product for a party, a Tupperware party or something like that, or to be sellers, and then you get a cut of that. Those how those work. And then what I want to talk about here is the supply chain. So all the activities that are involved for you to get the product you want. A lot of times we might hear that the iPhone is having problems with the screen, right? And that's really what they're saying, is they're having a problem with their supply chain, right? They don't make the screen on the iPhone. So they have to purchase that from someone else. And if the person who's making that product, if they're having trouble getting things that from other people they're buying from, if they don't make every single thing of that screen, then they could have a problem with their supply chain. Logistics is similar to supply chain, but it deals mostly with just the physical flow of material. Inbound logistics, bring raw materials, packaging, whatever, from suppliers to producers. Outbound, the other way. Reverse, if you were going to return something, if it did not work for one reason or another, that would be reverse logistics. I'd really like you to understand that in the US, the rail is the most frequently used form of transportation. Okay. Intermodal shipping, multiple. So if something is coming from China to the U.S., they're probably going to use a ship from China over to the coast, and then maybe a train, and then if it's a product that is more sensitive, you might use air. But all intermodal shipping means is that you're going to use multiple forms, right? If you're going to ship something from China to Kansas, you can't use a ship for the entire way, right? You're going to have to use a ship to maybe a truck. Storage warehouses hold products for a long period of time, and distribution warehouses gather and redistribute. So I know that there is the distributor for Budweiser here in the Raleigh area is a company called R.A. Jeffries. And so they might have Budweiser, Bud Light, whatever, in a distribution warehouse waiting to go to a specific retailer that you would purchase it from. Okay, that's it for Chapter 15. Hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, just let me know. Have a great day.